All right. Well, if you work in the legacy media, get ready for mass amounts of layoffs. The job cuts are going to come fast, and they're going to come furiously because now it's readily apparent that the legacy media is dead. All you needed to do is look at last night's numbers. Even before last night's election, legacy media was already laying off thousands of people, upwards of 20,000 so far across multiple legacy media platforms this year alone, and the year's not even over yet, like at the Washington Post and others. And so they do these layoffs at the same time they're trying to gain new subscribers. So you see how this works? They have to keep cutting the fat. They have to keep cutting all of this because no one's reading their publications. How many of you are actually buying a newspaper publication right now? Actually, tell me in the chat room right now, how many of you are actually have a newspaper subscription? Do you subscribe to the New York Times? Are you paying the New York Times? Are you paying the Washington Post? Are you paying the Seattle Post-Intelligencer? I love these old 100-year-old names. Are you paying for any of this sort of legacy media stuff anymore? This is the Hollywood Reporter last night. So you think, oh, election night, right? All of people, people are going to be tuning into Fox News and MSNBC and CNN. No. Election night viewing drops sharply in these early Nielsen numbers. Fox News did lead all the networks, but overall, these numbers plummeted compared to 2020. And it's worse for news media as the layoffs continue to pile up one after the other. It's funny the news media layoffs keep piling up one after the other. Worse since the financial crisis, with all of these tens of thousands of media layoffs. Last night I tweeted this. You can follow me on X if you'd like. Here was my X post last night after the election. Tonight's election marked the death of the legacy media. Elon Musk's X trounced all of them. And it really is true, because when you look at the record usage last night for Twitter, X, the amount of people that were getting their information from independent media and citizen journalists was off the charts. Elon Musk posted this, record usage of this platform. And he also wrote this: the reality of this election was plain to see on X. While most legacy media lied relentlessly to the public, you are the media now. Please post your thoughts and observations on X. Correct others when they're wrong, and we will have at least one place in the world where you can come to find the truth. And it's really shocking when you think about it, because without X during this election, it's very probable that Kamala Harris might have won this election.
Well, yes, because the Biden-Harris administration has censored and removed users and speech and topics that they did not like. What would be to prevent them from continuing to do that had we not had the Twitter files and litigation to stop them?
And how would we have fact-checked and been able to call BS on them, right? This is, of course, why the Harris campaign we revealed last week went to such great lengths to basically manipulate X community posts by flooding them with a Discord server that they used, and they would marshal people to jump on to these community posts and downrank them once they published lies. So when the Harris campaign was publishing lies, we were wondering, why aren't there a lot of community notes here on X? It's because they were manipulating this, because they knew they were lying and they wanted to cover up their lies. And frankly, without X as a free speech platform, she might have won this election. I think it's very probable that she might have. And where else would we have gone to get this information? We know that YouTube certainly has censored quite a bit of stuff during the elections. Maybe as a posting platform, I'm talking about X. Facebook? No way. TikTok? No way. Maybe Rumble, Reddit, just for video content, but no posting text-based content. Where are you going to find it? Go ahead, Philip.
Reddit was like flooded with Kamala bots that were posting like in all kinds of subreddits with just pictures and stuff like that. Just like it was flooded with it.
Yeah, and Elon Musk brought up a great point when he spoke to Joe Rogan about fact-checking about, when legacy media lies to us, like Rachel Maddow gets on television and lies to us, or the New York Times lies to us, they don't ever come back and make corrections, and they don't ever apologize for it. And in many ways, it's sort of like the Mark Twain quote, right? That a lie can travel halfway around the world before truth has a chance to put on its pants. And that's what, covering up the Hunter Biden laptop story, telling us it's Russian disinformation, and then amplifying those signals, then you have President Biden winning an election. So here was Elon Musk talking about this fact-checking.
Obviously, anyone on the X system knows that things are posted, and then there are replies and there are rebuttals, and it's immediately corrected. But where are the corrections for the legacy media?
Right.
You know, if you know, some broadcast media, they say false things all the time, but it's a one-way street. There's no rebuttal. There's no counter.
Right.
You know?
Right. Who's apologized for being incorrect about what? Did Rachel Maddow ever apologize for telling everybody that if you get the COVID vaccine, you're never going to get COVID? It won't. The virus stops with you.
No, never.
Never.
Yeah.
No one ever. It's just. It was not true at the time. There was no evidence to support it at the time. It's pure propaganda. And she said it. The RussiaGate hoax. For 3 fucking years, they said that he was Putin's toy.
Yes.
And that Putin had him compromised. The Steele dossier.
Steele dossier was completely fabricated by a lawyer at Perkins Coie, who was paid by the Clinton campaign. Literally.
Crazy.
And still people think the Russia hoax is real.
And there's no repercussions.
Yes.
There's no one had to apologize. Hillary Clinton never came out and apologized for that, and people still listen to her. The whole thing's crazy. And it's all coming from the left.
Yeah, it's all coming from the left. So the legacy media is grasping at straws. You're going to see massive amounts of layoffs. David Sachs tweeting this just a few minutes ago, or just late last night, excuse me. This is a bankruptcy moment for legacy media. They shrieked Nazi, fascist, traitor, insurrectionist at the top of their lungs for years. The country didn't believe it. Their spell is broken. Their credibility is destroyed. It's a new dawn.
The sad thing is that most of them have to be fired in order to start telling the truth, or if they start telling the truth, they get fired. We saw that with Tucker Carlson, who started to tell the truth about the war in Ukraine, lost his job at Fox. Then we saw that with Chris Cuomo, lost his job at Fox for something else, started to become responsible for his own research instead of parroting the narrative of the network. And then all of a sudden he knows what's what on his own independent channel. So could it be, or should it be, that those of them who are lying the loudest should be punished, sent back to the drawing board, and then and that is my experience too, that when we became responsible for our own message, because we are independent media, that forced me to study harder, and it broke the stronghold of the mainstream media narrative. So that you shouldn't have to go through that much pain because you're trying so hard to not study truth. So they owe us apologies but they will instead get fired first.
But I was just looking at some of our numbers last night, and go ahead, Phil. Go ahead, David.
I was just going to say, I wish that we had the ability. So like a lot of you will watch YouTube videos, and in our videos a lot, you'll see they put this little disclaimer at the bottom quoting either Wikipedia or CDC or whatever. Imagine if we could go to news sites and do that same thing on their stories. We would be we would be fact checking them a lot more than they do us. But we don't.
They turn off the comment section for a lot of the legacy media. You're not going to be able to go and post like comments on a Washington Post story or anything like that. So you're not going to be able to fact check them. They put out this piece of garbage. The Atlantic publishes a big hit piece right before the election, a coordinated hit piece with the deep state. Right? Who's paying for an Atlantic subscription?
No, I think it was either New York Times or Wall Street Journal hit piece on Michael Schellenberger. Fantastic journalist, Michael Schellenberger, just calling him a kook. That was the whole basis of the story, is that he's speaking out on behalf of the whale's death, but he's crazy for doing that because we all want wind turbines. It was fucking nuts. And the comments section actually was like, he's right. What's wrong with you? This is a biased piece. And they shut them off.
Oh yeah.
But there were in fact people. In fact, no, I don't know if they shut them off. That was something else. But they did allow it for a short period of time because when they find real journalists, they have to attack them.
Yeah, it's really stunning. I was just going to say on our numbers. I was looking at our numbers. We're a small YouTube channel, relatively speaking, to like Joe Rogan or anything. But we have 2.5 million subscribers here. And if you look at the cumulative amount of watch time of our viewers over the past month, it exceeds almost all CNN shows, like all legacy media cable news shows on CNN or MSNBC. It's remarkable. So legacy media is dying. Independent media is rising. As long as we continue to navigate this crazy world together and share the truth without an agenda, We have no agenda on this show other than the truth. And we're going to hold President Trump's campaign and administration to task, hoping that he carries through on all of the things that he's promised and all of the things, ending these wars. It's top of our list. Get us out of Ukraine, end these wars in the Middle East.
Yeah. Tax reform.
All
of that stuff.
All of these things that he's talked about.
It's amazing, though, because President Trump can propose tax reform. It can go through the Senate. And now that Republicans control both chambers of the Senate, it can pass without a humongous fight. When we hit the debt crisis, the budget crisis at the end of the year, we may actually, not this year, obviously, because Democrats will still be in power. But when that happens again, who cares? Because Republicans will pass it. They can agree on cutting spending. Will they actually do it? That's what they've said. They were holding hostage negotiations about. So we're going to watch. We want to see those things.
Let's get to your super chats and all of your comments here today. Oh, sure.
I would say something real quick on the legacy media, and I think one thing that just is definitely going to usher in the death of legacy media is the fact that the newest generations are not going to get on board. They're not going to start watching CNN. They're not going to start watching Fox. And so basically every person they lose is gone forever. That's never going to be replaced. So they can only go fewer and fewer. They can't even level out because they're just not going to, they're not going to pick up that generation.
Well, where was your daughter getting her election results? Your 18-year-old?
Almost entirely from TikTok. Almost entirely.
Okay, even she got state results and all of that. That's wild.
Yes, okay. She got the final results from me, but because she wasn't watching any of that, she didn't know where to go to even see the map or to check the numbers. But almost all of the information she takes in is from TikTok, YouTube, or I guess her parents.
Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing. We're in a new frontier, a new era, but you are the media. And I think, citizen journalists who are out there with their own iPhones and cameras and who have a specialty in a field, whether it's a rancher who's on their own ranch telling you what's actually happening with the cattle industry. Like, these are the people that we want to turn to, not listening to these bobbleheads in Washington and New York cities anymore.
Look what James O'Keefe is doing with the hidden cameras and stuff. He has a whole army of citizen journalists now.
Yeah. I mean, you used to rely on that like at 60 Minutes. They'd have one person doing something like this, right? When did we ever see that? Now we get to see it on a regular basis on social. Most guys think their testosterone is being drained by aging, bad genetics, or maybe even a lack of exercise. But what if I told you that's not the case at all? In fact, the real culprit is something you're likely eating every day. And here's the shocking part. It's something you've always been told is healthy. Yes, they are lying to you. This one food has been scientifically shown to devastate testosterone levels, and most men have no idea they're eating it. It's not junk food either. It's not sugar. It's something way more unexpected, and just eating it a few times a week is enough to wreck your testosterone, drain your energy, and crush your motivation. But here's the good news. Cutting this one thing out of your diet could completely transform the way you feel, and our friends at V-Shred have seen it firsthand with their clients. And guys who stopped eating it are building muscle, burning fat, feeling more energized than they have in years. It's truly incredible how quickly things can change once you know what to avoid. And V-Shred, the team behind the cutting-edge fitness and nutrition strategies, has created a video that reveals exactly what this testosterone-killing food is and why removing it from your diet could be the key to unlocking your body's true potential. So if you want to know what this food is, head over to sculptnation.com/redacted. It's right here on your screen. Sculptnation.com/redacted. Watch the video or just click the link below in the description box. V-Shred's experts break it all down, and this one simple change could make all the difference. Trust me, this is the one thing you don't want to miss.